Welcome to Women in the Arena podcast, the podcast celebrating women doing extraordinary things in plain sight. I'm your host, Audra Egan, and our mission is to elevate the value, strength, and resilience each woman brings to the world. Without further delay, let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me again this week. This week, I have an amazing guest with me, and we're going to talk about being able to blend the mind, body, and spirit that is the act of being human. My guest this week is Kavita Sahai, and she is, first of all, she's an amazing, intelligent human being. She is a wife, she is a mother. She worked in the defense and aerospace industries as well as private equity. So this is one smart woman. She holds a master's from UC Berkeley. She has an undergrad from University of Florida. But now she is taking the science and blending it into wellness. She's an expert in aromatherapy, Ayurveda, and yoga. And she is teaching those of us that are willing to hear the blending of health, wellness, and physicality. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Kavita. Kavita, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me and that beautiful introduction. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I am really excited for you to be here because we're talking about something that I think is starting to become a mainstream conversation, or at least we're starting to understand this a little bit more, whereas maybe in the past it was dismissed, it wasn't discussed, maybe it was discussed in hushed tones. And this is this idea of being able to come in alignment back with nature. And I know that this, everybody suddenly is going, okay, I didn't think it was that kind of podcast, Audra. But there's science behind this. So let's first start in the beginning of mind, body, and spirit wellness. What is that?
So mind, body, and spirit alignment and wellness is really the idea that there's 3 buckets we need to take care of. So I think physically people know workouts have been sort of accepted. And I think that's because it's something you see on the outside. So everyone's very aware and therefore there's been a lot of focus on it. Mind has been something that has come to the forefront, I think, especially with COVID, but mental health is now a lot more talked about. Meditation, which used to be more of a woo-woo topic, is a lot more accepted and practiced. And I think this third modality of spirituality or soul care, as I talk about it, is really that next step as well, where we also need to take care of our soul. And so I think of those 3 modalities as one when you align with nature. And I mean that both from, being out in nature with trees, as well as our own inner nature. How are we as a person?
And this is a very big departure from you. I mean, as I described in your intro, you have a very analytical, scientific background. I mean, you studied facts and data for a living for a very long time. How did you make this leap of having this very right brain job into embracing this very left brain idea of a total wellness?
It came upon experimentation. So I was struggling with probably all 3 of those areas, mind, body, and soul, just given the hours that I was working and the industries I was working in. And I came across oils. So essential oils, which are the essence of nature. And they worked for me in a way that even regular medications had not worked in the past. And I think that scientifically it's because I had a leaky gut, and anything you take supplemental wise, it isn't going to really come through your body if you have a leaky gut, but essential oils kind of bypass that system and go right into your bloodstream. So I started to want to understand why, right? So my analytical brain went right to, why is this working? Let's explore this further, right? And then as I dove into the science of it, was like, oh, well, okay, so it's nature. We need to be bound to nature. Well, what else is in nature? It's energy. So even though energy sounds very, again, abstract, there's actually real science around the energy from plants, the energies that we give off. And the more I study it, the more I was able to sort of channel that energy to feel better in all three areas. I went on then down that path of, okay, well, let's talk about aromatherapy. Let's go back to, I'm Indian. And so I wanted to understand, even as I was doing some of these practices, I'm like, oh, I remember my mom or grandma doing these things. Is there science behind it? Should we scrape our tongues? Is there some science behind it? And there was. And so anything that I would look at that was sort of ritualistic, I found that there was science supporting it. And once I did that, it was easier for me to accept and love and grow into this more, I would say, woo-woo type person on the outside. That's actually really all, it's really the same. It's all science-based. I really look at what works, where's the science behind either the ritual or the oil. It's just applied in a different way.
Well, let's start to break this down a little bit, because I know that there are lots of people listening, both men and women, that are listening going, I have a stressful job. I have a stressful life. I never feel 100%. I'm trying to balance this thing. I'm trying to get exercise. I'm trying to eat well. Sometimes I just say, forget it. I need a burger and fries, and I need a glass of wine, or whatever the case may be. But you're saying there's some balance involved, and we're out of balance. When you are working and you're carrying this really heavy energy, that is most definitely out of balance, which is probably why you're feeling sick and not very, very good. I mean, you just in general are just unhappy. So let's start with the first thing, the easy thing. I shouldn't say the easy thing. The thing that has become more acceptable. Let's start with mind first, with the meditation, the blood-brain barrier, if you will. Let's start there first. What's the first thing that you discovered when you realized, I have to get my mind right so I can start to move things back into alignment?
Right. And I actually think that's a great place to start your journey if you're sort of like, all three of these areas are really just not working for me, which, by the way, I think is most people. I saw a story, not a story, it was, again, a study by a doctor who said that 90% of disease and inflammation really starts with stress, and everybody is stressed, so everybody is inflamed. To begin with, it's really just about, especially first thing in the morning, quieting your mind. And there's 100 different techniques. So you don't have to be one of those people who doesn't think of anything. You can try breathing, you can try guided meditation. The point is to, again, sort of like a scientific experiment, keep testing, keep trying and see what works for you. What works for you is going to be different than what works for me. I actually spend a lot of time talking about how self-care looks very different for different people. And we really need to, again, understand our energy body to understand what kind of self-care would best suit us. But just getting that mind to be quiet. Again, I use a lot of oils in mine just because, again, it breaks that blood-brain barrier so that you can relax and it helps you get into more of a meditative space. But even if it's a minute, you can just, like anything else, practice until you get to a point that's a lot better. And from a calm mind brings willpower to then not grab the burger and fries when you're stressed, right? Like it gives you that feeling of calm and grounding that otherwise is lost. And when people say, they don't have time to meditate, there's that joke in the community that's when you need to meditate even more.
So I'm gonna push back on this just because I have tried to meditate. My brain is a really loud, noisy, chaotic place. On the outside, everybody's like, she's got it all going on. She's got it under control constantly. No, I do not. I 100% do not. I just fake it better than probably most do, but I am literally just making this up as I go along. So when I sit, I'm like, okay, I got to meditate. I got to meditate. I got to breathe. I got to figure this out. I've got to not think about the thing that is stressing me out. And then it makes me think about it and stress me out even more. And I'm sure what I'm describing to you and to everybody that's listening, this is not foreign. This is not an unusual thing. So for people that are so wired to buzz at a very high level, meaning high level of anxiety. How do we start? How do we start quieting this crazy, chaotic, busy mind?
So, Audra, by the way, that was me. I have ADHD. I was 100% this person when I began the journey. I would sit there and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't do it. And 100 things would go through, and it would almost make me more anxious to sit there quiet. It would even hurt to sit on the floor. I was that anxious. And so we're going to do it right now with you. What you're going to do is you're going to just inhale for 4.
Okay.
Hold it for 4. And then exhale as softly as you can, as if there was a feather on the top of your lip, just really, really soft. And then hold. And then you're going to inhale again. And as you do this, you can imagine a box. So with your mind, I want you to imagine, for example, you're inhaling. We're going to go up, inhale. And then we're going to hold. And then we're going to exhale. And then
you're
we're
making a square with your finger.
Exactly.
So you can't, nobody can see this. So what she's doing is she's making an imaginary square to basically help train your mind.
Exactly.
So I want to invite
it gives you a visualization as well as a practice, which by the way is a lot of what yoga is. It's movement with breath. And so this is the simplest version of it. It just gives everything something to do. So it gives your hands something to do. It gives your mind something to do. And you're breathing at the same time.
You are a girl after my own heart, because the joke is I can't sit still to watch TV.
Right.
So I taught myself how to crochet because I have to move something. So, I mean, you're getting an idea of who I am.
I have ADHD. I 100% get where you're coming from. And that's why I said it gives your mind something, your fingers something, and your breath something to do. And if you just did that 5 times in the morning and that was it, you would ground.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that one more time with everybody. Let's invite everybody to do this because I know my audience, you all are so much like me. It's not even funny. I know you are all a bunch of very high achieving, high anxiety individuals, which is why you're high achieving. So let's all try and we'll breathe together. So Kavita, yes. Lead us through.
Absolutely. So you're going to take your finger and you're going to go up and breathe. Inhale for 4. And then you're going to draw like the top of the rectangle, hold for 4. And then you're going to go down, or the square rather, down for 4. And then finish the box.
That I can do. I can do that.
Yep.
Because I'm making my fingers do something.
Exactly. You're drawing it. Hopefully you're visualizing the square. And sometimes people make it more of a rectangle when they can, they want to slow down that exhale or inhale a little bit more than the hold. You can play with what works for you, but that's what becomes the practice.
So why is this important? Why is it important, especially first thing in the morning, to take, what is that, a minute, maybe a minute and a half?
A minute, yeah.
To do that. And if many of you are like me, I work from home. I get out of bed and I come downstairs to my office and start getting to work because that's just how I'm programmed. But you're going to tell us the importance of maybe taking that extra 2 minutes in the morning to breathe. So why? Why do I want to do this?
So from a science perspective, it kind of calms all your fight or flight. So a lot of times people in high pressure jobs are going to get up, they're going to look at their phone, and then the to-do list just starts, right? And it's like we're already anxious before we've even had a cup of coffee, which then we're now more anxious before we even had our first bite of food. And this just calms everything down. And if you can do it in the morning, amazing. If you can start doing it during different parts of the day, like right before you eat, it's a great, quick way to digest your food faster. Back in the day, we used to pray before we ate, and there was actually a scientific reason behind it. It was because, again, it calms your fight or flight, so it allows you to digest a lot faster. So these are all little ways to bring down your parasympathetic nervous system so that you can relax and ground, make better decisions, not be as anxious or stressed. We just talked about how stress is the leading cause of all disease. So this is why it's so important. If you can invest 1 minute to begin with, and then maybe that turns into 3 or 4 minutes a day, that's your mental health. I wish someone would give me a 4-minute workout. I've got the 7-minute workout, but.
Yes. And the doing it before you eat.
Yes.
What an interesting approach. I'd
Yes.
never even thought of that, quite
Yeah.
honestly, because full transparency, 2 out of the 3 meals, if I get 3 meals a day, are in front of my computer.
Yes. I'm guilty
And
of this as well, by the way, but I incorporate a little ritual. I use the de-stress oil because it helps again calm, and I do the breath. And I do it just maybe even 30 seconds, but it helps so much with digestion. And again, it was just curious about this ritual. I was like, all cultures pray before eating. Why? And that's when I found the science behind it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
very interesting. And what's with the oils? I mean, oils are not going to cure cancer, but
No.
that's not the point of this. What is the function and the purpose of using these natural oils?
So the point is getting back to our connection to nature. Also, it's not about, so when you talk about treating, it's less about treating and it's more about getting to the root cause. So our body and our skin are amazing in that they can do and treat and heal everything on their own. Like if we were really healthy individuals that did this mind, body, soul care, our body would never be in need of anything more. But what it does is it gives that natural nourishment without any chemicals. So when you're using pure oils, essential oils with a carrier oil, it's immediately going into your bloodstream. So regardless of, again, your gut health, you're getting that. It's supporting the systems that it needs. And so it's providing that support. I think of it sort of like a natural vitamin that you don't have to swallow.
So you put it on your skin.
You just rub it onto your skin and it helps. Again, the smell, you'll immediately, just like when you smell a rose or you smell something, it ignites a feeling. And so again, when you use it for in meditation or different place, sometimes it can get you to that feeling immediately. So if you don't feel like, if you're having a panic attack or anxiety and you're not able to actually do the breathing because you're just too distraught, just putting the oil will help you get to that place of remembering with that calm. Along with the oils themselves, the specific oils, if depending on what you're using, will support the systems that they need.
Well, they do say that scent and smell is the greatest receptor of memory.
Yes.
I mean, that's why everybody says we love the smell of the holidays, whatever those holidays are. There's a smell to it, and it makes me feel a certain way.
Correct.
Or why people respond to the smell of coffee or chocolate or whatever. So you're saying the same thing, is that it's a same sort of emotional reaction,
Correct.
but you're using an essential oil, and it's to aid in settling down your mind to help you start your day to begin with.
Correct. So you're training it to a certain scent, but also depending on what oils you use, they could also be the ones that are perfect for calming your nervous system, for example.
Got it. Okay. So let's pretend that Audra's better at the whole meditation thing. I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to work on this 90-second
I believe
thing
in you.
every day.
I'm going to check in again in a
Yes, please
week
do.
and see if you're really getting your 1 minute.
I can do a minute. I mean, come on. I can do a minute, right? I mean,
You can.
everybody keep me accountable. I can do a minute. So let's assume that Audra's really good at giving herself a minute. What is this soul part of this equation? This three-legged stool. What is the soul piece?
So the soul piece is really thinking about our true nature. We wear so many different hats based on the program we've had, based on our childhood experiences, the friends we have, the cities we live in, even especially now with social media and all types of media, we're always being told we should be, what we should be doing, what's correct, almost like our opinions are getting fed to us through all these different channels. And so soul care is really about getting clear with your intuition about who you really are and how you really should be responding to the world. It's a little bit more abstract, I know, so I'm going to try to bring it down a little bit. It's also, if you think of energy, like your energy body, people talk about auras. And so that to me is also all part of your soul care. Like, how are you showing up as an energy body and increasing those vibrations? One of the tools I really like is the human design. Have you heard of human design at all?
I've heard bits and pieces, but not enough to talk to you about it intelligently, but I'd love to hear more.
Sure. So it's one of the modalities I feel is really helpful for this sort of soul care. It divides all of us into 5 different energy bodies. Because, like I said, for some people, self care could be running a mile, but it's definitely not for me. but it could be, right? It could be, it is definitely for some people. And so it starts to help you understand what centers are programmed from the outside and what do you have a real grounding in. So it's a combination of many different types of modalities. It combines the chakra system, I Ching, astrology, all into a chart. And so there's it's 5 different energy types. So for example, if you're a generator, you have to expend, and I suspect, Audra, you are. I think you need to take our soul quiz on the website and find out and let me know.
Definitely do that.
But as a generator, you really need to expend all of your energy before you can be calm for sleep. And so there's different ways that you can take care of that to increase your vibration compared to somebody who maybe is, for example, a projector who needs to rest all the time and take breaks all the time to really energize their aura and their energy body. So it's more about that. And then again, connecting, if you think about anything that really increases vibration, that includes meditation, that includes movement, that includes all of that helps. So the 3 of those are not separate. It's not like you would just do one without the other. That's how they kind of create a cycle that builds momentum.
In case people are starting to go, okay, what is this energy thing? You guys already know, because it's that feeling of, oh, this person gave me a weird vibe.
Exactly.
Or there's something, I don't know what's up with that room, but that room feels weird. Or I didn't like this. It gave me the creeps. All of that is a response to energy because, and this is not me just making things up, you are a walking, talking battery.
Right.
That's what we are. We are energy creators. I mean, you need energy to move your body, to think, to have blood flow, oxygen. That's all creating energy.
Right.
And there are people that are more sensitive to feeling energy than others. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
That's right. Like sometimes you can be with someone and they really energize you or they suck all your energy out, right? It's that same concept of how are you feeling. And one thing I really encourage people to do is keep a diary, like just for a day, just to see. I brushed my teeth up or down with energy. I made breakfast up or down. I drove to work up or down, right? And really see like what are the activities that light me up and what are the ones that maybe are sucking my energy that I need to either reframe or reconfigure.
What's the importance of knowing this? The expenditure or the gain of energy. Why should we be concerned about that? What benefit is it to us?
So ideally, we're all these incredibly vibrant, joyful, peaceful beings. And I think that we can only do that when we have completely optimized our nature. So by keeping this diary, like I said, you start to notice, okay, this isn't working for me. It really drains my energy. What can I reconfigure so that that's not really an issue? That's why it's really important. We really want to be vibrant and joyful. And I don't feel like most people are.
I would agree, especially if you just walk out your front door. Heaven forbid you turn on the TV, social media, all of it.
Correct.
That is a symptom of people being out of alignment with who they were designed to be.
Correct. And then that's another great one. After you scroll your phone, is your energy up or down? And be honest.
Oh, it's awful. Well, okay, I take that back. It depends on what I've been looking at.
Right. But if you kept track of it for a couple of days, you'd be like, is it good? Is it bad? Or if I need to reconfigure, maybe I need to just unfollow people that I've noticed. And the more you pay attention, the more you can work with it. So in the beginning, you might go through a day and not even notice the things that bring you up or down. But as you start to bring your awareness to those things, you can really start to tweak and live such a more energy fulfilling and vibrant life.
So what did you do once you realized that you needed more alignment? I mean, you were in a high-powered, demanding, high-compensated job, and you realized that this isn't working for me anymore. What? Then what? I mean, sometimes that reality is pretty harsh. I mean, how did you handle that?
There was many stages of grief. Acceptance. I think I went through
Bargaining,
exactly.
denial.
Yes, yes. I think I went through all the different stages because yes, you're right. It was a career that I had worked my whole life to achieve. It was something I thought I wanted from a very young age. And to walk away from it was scary. It was sad, but I knew that I was out of alignment. And I knew that I wanted to live a life full of joy and peace and good health. And I was very interested in the science of all of those things. And so I dove into learning and I found a lot of joy there. And then when I was able to take that to create a company that then would start to compensate as well, it definitely helped. But the process was painful. It's not an easy thing to go through. It's hard to explain to people what you're doing and why you're doing it. People definitely looked at me like I was insane, maybe having a young midlife crisis or something like that. But it really was just a transitioning. I think it's becoming a better version of yourself, which is a continual process throughout your whole life, I hope.
Yeah, you can't. It's growth. Growth is the opportunity to expand and do scary things. Now, there may be some people that are listening going, Kavita, that is amazing. That is wonderful. That is brave. But I can't leave my job. I can't leave my career. I don't have that ability. I don't have a pathway away from it or out of it. But I believe that there is a way to manage it. And I know that you do too, that maybe you can't leave your job. Maybe you love your job and it's still going to be exhausting for you. And that's okay. How do you manage the other parts of that three-legged stool so that stress becomes manageable?
Again, it comes down to what are you doing, even if it's a minute a day, to address those three things. So if you took a minute for your mental, a minute for physical, and you just kept expanding, obviously, I think you want more than a minute, but even 5 minutes, right? Even if you did 5 minutes for each of those categories, so 15 minutes a day, I think you would start to see such a difference. It's all about focus. So if you start to focus on those things, you will bring energy to them, even in just that 5 minutes. That will help you to feel better, help you to feel more aligned, help you to feel more vibrant.
Well, you mentioned briefly that you created an entire company based on discovering or rediscovering yourself again, or maybe redefining yourself because you thought that you wanted this career your entire life and you chased it and you got there and you went, maybe not.
Right.
So, how did you take that new discovery and create something new?
So, what I did was create something I thought that I would have liked. I wanted it to be easy. I had been introduced to oils when they were all through these MLMs and different things, and I didn't want to learn about blending at that point. Obviously, now I know more than I could hope about the topic, but I was like, if someone would just tell me what I need to de-stress, or what I need when I have allergies, or what I need when I drink or eat too much or eat the wrong thing, I wish it could just be in a little bottle, easy to use, that I can throw in my purse and take anywhere. And when I realized that that was what it was that I wanted, I was like, well, then that's what I'm going to create. And then similarly, because of all the different chemicals we have in our environment. So when you think about food, right, we've now discovered, oh, processed food is not good for you. Like, don't know why that took so long, but we got here. And we really need to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, light bulbs. Well, so I think the next one is skin, right? What are we putting on our skin? Doesn't that make sense that would be like natural plant oils as well? Because our skin is our largest organ, absorbing everything. And so again, I thought, well, oils are the best way to nourish our skin so that they can do everything they want. So I'm going to create a custom oil because all of us are very different when it comes to the skin on our face. And then I thought, well, these products are great, but without the rituals that there's science behind, how are people going to really find the effect? And so that's when I started to pair it with these 30-day journeys of a couple minutes a day on self-care based on your energy type. So based on your human design, so it takes into account your astrology, what kind of energy you are, and then tailors the self-care to what you need. So it was everything that I wanted, I think. And what I wanted was something easy, quick, fast. And that's kind of where it came from. So it was really born out of love and experimentation and science.
Well, what else do you do for your clients? Because I know that it's yes, you have this company that is based on the science of oils, and basically it is based in the foundation of helping people feel better.
Right.
But I know that you are also offering additional guidance to your clients, those that want it. What can you describe to us what that is?
So the guidance is really, again, around this soul care, how to take care of your energy type. And that can be as deep as what are the best ways for you to sleep. A lot of people should really sleep alone. So if you're married, how do you manage that dynamic? Maybe you can go to bed first, so at least you get some time in bed alone, because again, you need to discharge the energy. So it really becomes granular into where's your programming, where do you need to be deconditioned, but it's all in the human design realm.
Okay, we paused really quick because I was very curious. I wanted to take this soul generator quiz that Kavita has on her website, and I'll make sure that I have that link. And as Kavita alluded to before, she said that I'm betting that you are a generator, and damn, Skippy, I sure am. I'm a manifesting generator. So, what does that mean? What am I?
So, as a manifesting generator, it's really the combination of two types. It's the only one that's like that, which is a manifester, which means you're really great at being creative, as well as a generator, which means you're really good at creating and doing energy. So, for example, your strengths might be energetic, multitasking queen, efficient, self-aware, whereas a weakness could be you skip important steps, you hate waiting. And one of the really cool
things, you live with me, Kavita.
Yeah. And one of the really cool things about knowing your energy type is there's what they call your not self theme. So when you realize that this is happening, you know that you're not in alignment. And so, for you, it's frustration or even anger. So if you're feeling frustrated, it means whatever you're doing, you're not in alignment. And I always think that's such a great indicator, because then you can really kind of evaluate, like, oh, whoa, I'm really frustrated. That means that I'm not in alignment. That's my clear indication. And that's not the same for every energy type. Like if you're a projector, your not self theme is bitterness. So if you're feeling bitter, then you know you're not in alignment. I feel like that's such a great correction tool, but it's also just helps you understand, what's your strategy? Like what's your strategy for life? And so in your case, it's really about waiting for the right opportunities and responding. And so people think, oh, I just have to wait. That's what that means. And no, what it really means is you need to really get clear on your intuition. So as a generator, you make decisions with your gut, which is me, by the way, too. So you have to, if someone says, hey, I want to be on your podcast, you really want to wait a second and be like, how does that feel? Yes or no. And really start listening to your inner voice, because that is how you are supposed to make decisions.
Fascinating. That is fascinating, because first of all, let me back up and say you explained it as frustration. Mm-hmm. The language that I use is I feel stuck, mm-hmm. which is the same thing, basically. Yes. It's I feel stuck, and I hate feeling stuck. There's nothing that irritates me more than feeling like I'm not moving forward, right. or backward, for that matter, right. That I'm not moving. And I am such a forward person that, yes, I will find that I say yes faster than I probably should in a lot of cases, because I'm like, yes, let's do this. Yes, let's go. Yeah. So you're saying that that could be my Achilles heel.
It is, exactly. And again, your strategy, and every design has its own strategy. Your strategy is really to bring it in and be like, does this light me up? Does this excite me? Because knowing that it doesn't excite you, you're not going to finish. It's going to be jumping to the next. And then you'll be overwhelmed in the overwhelm of projects. And so it really is, does this really get me going? Does this excite me? And if it is, then it's a hell yes. It's either a hell yes or a hell no in your case. There's no in between. And so it's kind of the good way to look at opportunities is either it's a hell yes, or if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Good to know. I'm going to read through it a little bit more in
Yeah.
detail because
Yeah, if you click through the site, it'll take you to a page that gives you more explanation on the design. And you're in good company with Elon Musk and Vincent Van Gogh, and Gwyneth Paltrow, so all manifesting generators. But
well,
again, it's another way to know yourself. So we talk about nature and your true nature, and again, this is your true nature. And how do you get back to it?
as you had said before, that there's been, especially as a female
Yes.
in a male dominated field, and quite frankly, in a male dominated world, if you want to know the truth,
Right.
We get these conflicting messages all the time. Be more of this, be less of that. And a lot of cases, it's saying the exact opposite. And you're like, well, which is it?
Right.
Do you want me to be more forward and aggressive? Or do you need me to pull back because I'm appearing to be a bitch? There's just there's a no-win situation there. And it's this constant push and pull. And it gets clouded.
Right.
Your design, your alignment gets clouded. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you is because as women get older, I mean, as men get older, but particularly with women, is we start to become a little bit more introspective and take a little bit more inventory of what we're doing. Does this make us feel good? Should we be doing this? Is there something that I should be doing more of? And we also start to tolerate things that don't make us feel good, or people that don't make us feel good, a whole lot less.
Correct.
And yours is a total practice of getting back in alignment that maybe helps enhance those feelings of this is good for me, this isn't good for me, and maybe help you make better decisions rather than I'm done, cutting you off, don't have any thought anymore, I'm out. That while that might be good in some situations, it may not be good in others.
Right.
So I'm really appreciative of your scientific approach to this and the guidance of alignment and why it's so important.
I think you're right. As we get older, we are 100% more looking into what is our purpose? What does this act look like? How are we going to be more aligned, feel amazing? And I think it's these tools that if we practice, we're going to really dive deep into our intuition, which knows. So just like our body can heal itself and our mind can heal our body, our soul can also really tell us what we're supposed to do. It'll guide, but we've gotten so far away from our intuition that we have to wear a device just to tell us if we slept well. Like, we don't know. We can't wake up and say we've slept well or not. No, we need a device. Like, we've gotten so far away from relying on our own intuition that we've forgotten how to use it. And so I really hope that these tools and these oils all sort of bring us back into our true nature of understanding who are we, why are we here,
and is there more to life than this?
Correct.
If there's or if you guys are like me, there's got to be more than this. There's got to be more than conference calls than this. And
Right.
I know that is resonating with pretty much everybody who's listening.
Right. So it's embark on this journey.
So where would they connect with you if they're curious of needing some guidance to embark on this journey?
You can connect with me at kavita@ksahai.com. That's my email. I respond to all emails. And then if you want to take the soul quiz, you can go to ksahai.com and click on soul quiz. We also have a skin quiz, so just to do any confusion, but there you can find your design, and we have lots of free articles on the site as well, just to explain it, because I really wanted it to be accessible to everyone, because I know that soul care is sort of a new concept when you think of the three pillars of what I would consider optimal well-being.
Well, we'll get there. It took decades for people to realize that our minds are part of our bodies, and the emotional health of that is important. Right. It took us a while, but we got there. I think we'll get there with this too.
I think so too. And I hope everyone does their box breathing, especially Audra.
Yes, especially me. I am the number one student in this case. No, Kavita, this is my favorite part of the show, the absolute favorite part, where I get to step back from the mic because I want to give you an opportunity to have an uninterrupted, intimate moment directly with the audience. So I'm going to step back and give the mic to you.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And I've appreciated this conversation. I would just say to anyone who's listening, if you are in a place of angst, if you're not feeling like you're living in your purpose, or you don't feel good, like you're tired, you're low energy, I really invite you to embark on this journey of mind, body, and soul care with me. And if not with me, I invite you to take it with anyone that really, again, resonates with your gut and your intuition. But start, because it is a beautiful journey that I promise will be worth it. And the journey will be beautiful as well as the destination.
That's very hopeful. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to go and read my chart because manifesting generator, you totally called it. Kavita, thank you for being here. Thank you for guiding us through this, especially for those of us that are extremely analytical and we're a little bit skeptical of the things that are a little bit more mystical or things that we can't touch or feel. So thank you for helping to bring that down to a scientific level. So at least we can start to be curious about it and embrace that and know that, we're not doing anything strange out there, or at least strange for us. So thank you for bringing it on a level that we could relate to.
Of course. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
I am so happy to have you here. I'm also super happy for all of you to listen. I will put all of our information into the show notes to make life easy for you. So you can just click on the link, and we will see you again next time.
This is just the beginning.
That's our show. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and your unwavering support and your continued belief in this movement that has become much bigger than me, much bigger than just a podcast. It has become this forward momentum that we are all doing together. If you are ready, or you know somebody that is ready to tell your story and share your value with the world, please connect with me. You can reach me at audra@womeninthearena.net. I am so honored and thankful that you will share your story with me, and I'll make sure that it is well taken care of. I will never stop thanking each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next week as we share another woman's story and we celebrate her doing extraordinary things in plain sight. We'll see you next time.
This is